Don't let a bad credit score keep you down. In this video, I'll break down simple steps that you can take to repair your credit fast. In fact, I used to run a credit repair agency that got late payments, collections, charge-offs, and many other delinquencies off of people's credit reports. Here are a few examples. I had a client who had a string of late payments for student loans and couldn't figure out how to increase his score, but we were able to remove them. Here's another one. This client had repossession that still had a large balance on it, and it was still able to get deleted. Credit repair does not have to be complicated. I'll go over what you can start on today to help increase your score. What's up, winners? My name is Nam. If you're new here, welcome. Here we talk all things personal finance and credit. Start now by subscribing so you don't miss out on any future videos. The first thing that you need to do when you want to start working on your credit is to get fresh credit reports from each one of the credit bureaus. There are three main players that you need to worry about, which is Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. The cheapest way to get free credit reports is going through annualcreditreport.com. This one is 100% for free and is the only website that's backed by the government that allows you to get free credit reports. Ever since the start of COVID and the pandemic, this website allows you to get new credit reports every single week. Even though free is nice, unfortunately with these credit reports, you did not get access to your credit scores. If you are tight on money, then I get it. Go ahead and use whatever you can and whatever is the lowest possible cost. When it comes down to credit repair, I recommend spending just a little bit more to get side-by-side credit reports with your credit score, so you know exactly where your starting point is. Because when you pull your credit reports from annualcreditreport.com, you will be transferred to each one of the credit bureaus and you get your report individually from them. With each credit bureau, they have reports laid out differently from one another. So this may cause some confusion when you are looking for discrepancies. There are plenty of credit reporting agencies where you can get credit reports for $1 within the first week, then $30 monthly ongoing. The one that I personally use is called Identity IQ. This allows you to get access to all three of the credit bureaus, but they want to give you Vantage scores, which is not the most accurate way of determining what lenders and creditors may see, but it is good enough to just repair your credit. You can also get your FICO credit scores from MyScoreIQ, which is very similar to Identity IQ. Some other popular services include MyFICO.com and Experian.com. Wherever you get your credit reports from, the process in this video is going to be exactly the same. Of course, you certainly can't just get the free trial and get the credit reports, but you at least want to check your credit report every few months to know if there are any changes. Another possible option is by looking at your credit report via Credit Karma. I don't recommend using them for credit repair just due to the fact that information may not be as accurate as you would get it directly from the credit bureau. But it does have other neat features that you can use during the process. One of them being able to see your credit utilization. But a little bit more on this later. As a pro tip, anytime that you pull your own credit report, this does not harm your credit score whatsoever, so you can do it as many times as you would like. Now, once you downloaded all of your credit reports, it is time to review them. There are three basic categories that you need to know. The first one is your basic information. This is pretty self-explanatory. This is just your full name, date of birth, current address, social security number, employment information, and all the places that you live. The next section is your account information. This is the information that most people think when they're talking about credit reports. It is usually separated in parts, which includes your open lines of credit, delinquent accounts, and closed accounts. The third is public records. This can include bankruptcies, tax liens, and other court judgments that can affect your credit. So for the scope of this video, I'm not gonna be going over everything line by line, and it can be a little bit complicated and confusing. So if you're looking for more details of how to review your credit report, I do have a credit repair masterclass, link in the description if you want a step-by-step process. Now, the first thing that you wanna look over when reviewing your credit reports is to look at your credit utilization. Sometimes this is known as debt to credit ratio, but either way, they mean exactly the same thing. All credit utilization is how much money is being used compared to how much credit is available to you. For instance, if you have a credit card with a $1,000 credit limit and you have a balance of $900, then you would have a 90% credit utilization. This is incredibly bad. The more debt that you have anywhere, the more likely credit bureaus believe that you will not pay back your lenders. This is just a sad truth, but if you know how to use credit and debt correctly, you can really scale your wealth. So just look over your credit card accounts where there might be high balances. Paying those off will give you the quickest turnaround to increase your credit score. I've seen people increase their scores over 100 points just by paying down their credit cards. The thing is that a lot of people have the means to pay off their credit cards, but then think that maintaining a balance will help build their credit. This is far from the truth. On the other hand, maybe you are a person who doesn't routinely maintain a balance on a credit card, and you pay off your statement balance in full whenever you receive it in the mail or by email. This is where you would really have to know the closing date of each billing cycle. Most credit cards have billing cycles of 28 to 31 days. So to know when the cycle ends is key to knowing when to pay off your balance. The easiest place to find this date is on your credit card statement balance, or you may be able to find it on Credit Karma. For example, this is one of my Chase credit cards, and you can see that my next statement period ends on November 23rd of 2021. This means that any balance that's left over after this date will be reported to the credit bureaus. The credit bureaus would then determine your credit utilization compared to your credit limit, then they will punch out a credit score. Here's another example from Credit Karma. If you were to look through your app and view all of your account details, it shows that it was last reported on October 22nd. This just shows that most credit cards have a 30-day cycle. So if you are able to, try to pay off as much credit card balances that you possibly can, and you can reap the benefits within 30 to 60 days or whenever the next time your balance gets updated. So if you have high balances on credit cards, this will be the quickest way to increase your score by 100 points depending on your balance. Unfortunately, there's no magic bullet or shortcuts. You just got to bite the bullet and pay down your credit card debt. You got yourself into it, so make the promise to yourself and take care of it. So ideally, you want to keep your utilization as low as possible. The bare minimum is less than 30%, but ideally you want to have it less than 10%. Honestly, the lower the better. Do what you can to pay off your credit card debts. Now let's keep it moving with our next strategy of repairing your credit as quickly as possible, which is paying collections for deletion. I say again, paying collections for deletion. The last part is key. You want the collections agency to remove them from your credit report. This is a surefire way to dramatically increase your credit score. The thing is that I am not against the idea of settling collections just due to the fact that you can get the quickest boost this way. But if you know 100% that the collection is fraudulent and not yours, then go ahead and dispute it first. But if you are considering settling, start off by negotiating anywhere between 10 to 20% of the original debt. Meaning that if you have a collections account with $3,000 on it, start your negotiations around $300 to $600. The reason why you can go this low is that collections agencies, they buy debt by the millions, and they get everything for pennies on the dollar. There are a couple of ways that you can do this. You can either call the collections agency directly or send a letter through the mail. Honestly, if you want the quickest results, you should just call them through the phone. If you do decide to call them, do not tell them that the debt is yours. You just believe that there is an alleged debt that's on your credit report and you would like to get it removed. 99% of the time, whenever you call collections agencies, they will have your calls recorded. They may use your word against you in case if you do dispute this account. Ever since the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of collections agencies are more willing than ever to delete your collections accounts if you are willing to pay them. Everything is negotiable. If they don't accept 10 to 20% of the original balance, then just work your way up from there. But the goal is to delete the delinquency. Before you send any money or give any type of banking information, just make sure that you get it in writing first. Once you get the letter with their letterhead saying that they will remove it after you pay, this is when you should pay. Whenever you are paying a collections agency, just make sure that you pay by money order, so they don't have direct access to your banking information. This just saves a lot of hassle in case they try to drain your account. The key reason why you want to have this letter first before paying is that you need to have this proof. If they don't live up to their end of their deal, you're gonna need this letter to dispute it with the credit bureaus. This will speed up the disputing time with the credit bureaus, and it should call for instant deletion. If a collections agency is not willing to give you the letter until you pay, this is a bunch of BS, and you probably want to wait a little bit longer and try to renegotiate a little bit later. I have had many clients pay for deletion, and they have seen their information updated within the next 30 to 60 days. Depending on what state that you live in, each state has their own statutes of limitations of when debt can legally be collected. I live in the state of California. Legally, you have 4 years to collect the debt of when it was last delinquent. The earlier that you are on the statutes of limitations, the more leverage the collections agencies have. Towards the end of the statutes of limitations, you have the most leverage. And once the 4 years have been completed, the debt is legally not collectible anymore. So just keep that in mind when you are negotiating with the collections agency. If you want to know what are the statutes of limitations for your state, a quick Google search will be able to help you out. Now let's move on to talk about late payments. Your payment history makes up 35% of your overall FICO score. If you have any late payments on your credit report, these can drop your credit score like a rock. If your score is in the 700s and you have one late payment, you can see your score get as low as in the 500s. No joke. Late payments are very serious to your credit score. One of the quickest ways to get late payments removed from your report is just by calling up the creditor or the lenders directly. Some creditors are a little bit more stingy than others, like Capital One, but if your late payment was due to financial hardship during the pandemic or COVID, you have very good chances of getting this late payment removed. This works like a charm. I had advised many clients to give the credit card company or lender a call and ask them if they're willing to give them a goodwill deletion since they face financial hardships. All you really got to do is explain your situation, how long you've been a loyal customer, and your track record right now. Keep in mind that this will only work if you have 1, maybe 2 late payments at the most shown on your credit report. If you have a string of late payments and if you're currently late, it's gonna be difficult for any type of company to give you forgiveness. Can you imagine if you're currently late right now and not up to date with your bills, but you're asking them to delete it? there's really no reason for a company to do so. On the other hand, if you only had one late payment and ever since then you paid on time, this will be a very strong case to get this late payment removed. Now, if you already paid off your credit card bills, asked for a pay for deletion with collections, and attempted a good with deletion for late payments, the next step that you can take to repair your credit is going through the disputing process. So for the scope of this video, I'll give you some quick actionable steps that you can take today to dispute inaccuracies on your credit report. When you are reviewing your reports, you're gonna need to dissect each one of them to find inaccuracies, redundancies, or unverifiable information that can be disputed. You wanna start off with the very top section, working your way down. The first area that you wanna start disputing with the credit bureaus is going over your basic information. You wanna make sure that your name is spelled correctly, your date of birth is correct, remove any old inaccurate addresses and outdated employment information. The only information that should be on your credit report is what you have up to date. If it is not valid, you have the right to dispute any item on your credit report. Whenever you're ready to send your dispute letters, it does not have to be complex. You can handwrite them or even type them out yourself. But if you want to make it simple for yourself, I do have a package of credit repair letters that you can purchase, link in the description. All you would have to do is just modify it to your needs. But either way, if you decide to write your own letter, your initial letter should include the following information: your credit report number if you pulled it directly from the credit bureaus themselves, the account or items that you are disputing, the reason for dispute, such as, I did not recognize this account, the instructions for the credit bureau, which can be, please remove this inaccurate information from my credit report immediately, and any documentation that you can prove for your dispute. And lastly, a typed signature. Don't use any wet signatures, because they can actually trace it back to any signed documents that creditors or lenders may have on you. With every letter that you send, just make sure that you send a copy of your current driver's license or government issue ID, a copy of your utility bill or bank statements to show proof of your address, and you may want to consider sending a copy of your social security card, just to prevent the credit bureaus not being able to identify who you are. This has happened to me countless times with clients, especially if you have common names or had identity theft before. These documents are mainly for the first letter. Every letter afterwards, don't need them. As a pro tip, just try to keep your letters as simple as possible. There's really no need to show anger or emotion. All that matters is to keep it simple and concise. The first round of letters should only be addressing your personal information only, because there could be delinquencies or inaccurate information that's tied to outdated names and addresses. By correcting personal information first, this will give you a higher probability of getting items removed. The next thing that you want to do if you get a response back from the credit bureaus is to start working on the delinquent accounts. This could be a charge-off, a collection, late payments, or anything that's bringing your credit score down. You want to go through the accounts portion of your credit report with a highlighter and mark any items as inaccurate, outdated, or misleading. Start off with the easy ones first, such as outdated accounts, inaccurate late payments, settle accounts, and authorized user accounts. On the other hand, it is more difficult to dispute inaccurate bankruptcies, foreclosures, and repossessions, so you want to save those items for last. Whenever you thoroughly inspect your credit reports and know whatever is inaccurate or outdated, you may feel that you want to dispute everything all at once. Never dispute more than 5 items per letter per round. Let me give you a quick example. Let's just say that you have 5 collections accounts that show up on TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. On 3 dispute letters, each credit bureau should be receiving 1 letter with 5 items on there. The reason being is that if you dispute more than 5 items per round, your disputes may be labeled as frivolous and your claim will be ignored. This is why some of the most successful and large credit repair companies only dispute 3 to 5 items per month or per round. Additionally, make sure that you dispute items that are only shown on that credit bureau's report. Meaning, if I have a collections account with Experian, I'm not going to dispute this with Equifax. If this item gets verified, Equifax can start reporting this item too. So just follow these steps to get the best chances of getting removals. Start off by disputing obvious errors that are easiest first. Next is to continue to be persistent. If credit bureaus fail to address the request, they are in violation of the FCRA, so go ahead and continue to dispute. So never take a no for an answer, because inaccurate information should be disputed time and time again until they are removed. Next is to keep yourself organized. Give yourself some calendar notifications to remind yourself to follow up within the next 30 to 45 days after you sent the letter. A lot of times, credit bureaus may send you a letter that they received a dispute and detract the claim online. This is perfectly fine, but just make sure that you follow up with the case. If the credit bureau tells you that you should follow up with the original creditor or lender, just tell the credit bureau that you already done so and the credit bureau needs to do their own investigation. Once the credit bureaus receive your request, they have 30 days to respond to the letter, which can be either verified or deleted. As a reminder, it is your right to get proof of how the delinquency was verified if it was verified. If you have more than 5 items, wait until the following month to start on that delinquency on a new letter. This also gives you time to follow up with the previous delinquencies. Credit repair does not have to be complex or difficult. With all the information that I share with you today, this should give you enough of a start to start repairing your own credit. If you'd like to learn more about credit repair and the actual process that I use with my clients, I do have a credit repair masterclass that you can sign up for. I go over everything that you need to know about credit, how to use the law to your advantage, and disputing strategies for all the major delinquencies on your credit report. You also get access to all the letters that I use professionally, so whether you have a lot of time or a little bit of time to spare, everything is laid out in a concise step-by-step process that anyone can follow. So by the end of the course, you will know exactly how to repair your own credit and have more financial opportunities than you did before. Use the coupon code below so you get a discount on the course. If you want to learn more about repairing your credit, check out this video over here where I teach you how to remove hard inquiries for free. I'll see you over there.